Good morning, ladies. I'm so excited to talk to you this week on YourMoreThanMom.com. Our theme this week is about creating boundaries at work and at home. So first, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Gina Whitehouse. I am the creator of YourMoreThanMom.com. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a work-at-home mom. I have a successful business from home. I'm an entrepreneur, and I have 2 kids, and I'm a wife, and so that, in short, is me. So I'm excited for a lot of things going on this week on our social media platforms. First, we are going to be talking about boundaries. That's something that all of us moms can always get better at, right? I think it's a struggle, and I think from 1 to 10, everybody's on the spectrum somewhere as far as creating boundaries in your life, just with maybe kids' activities and your family life, or boundaries between your kids and your marriage, or if you have a job at home, or if you are starting a business from home, making sure that your work time does not bleed into your family time. I know that one has been a very big struggle for me. So today we are also going to start promoting our feature interview. This is our second interview with Denise David from Denise David Drafting. I'm really excited. She's actually a personal friend of mine, and what we're going to focus on is creating boundaries from home. So she's going to share first just what her transition was like going from working to being a stay-at-home mom and then building a business from home. But she's also going to talk about how she has been able to create boundaries in her business and create structure in her day so that her clients know that, hey, if they send her something at 8 o'clock at night, that they're not going to get it till the next day. So please make sure to check out that interview. It's already on our webpage at YourMoreThanMom.com. If you click on the resources tab and scroll down to the More Than Mom interviews, you will see it there. And later on today, we will be posting it today on our Facebook channel and also our Instagram handle. So make sure to follow us on Instagram too at YourMoreThanMom. All right, so I'm going to start by reading this quote to you. This is by Henry Cloud. It's boundaries are basically about providing structure, and structure is essential in building anything that thrives. Let me read that again. Structure is essential in building anything that thrives. So my question for you today is, are you thriving or are you just surviving? Do you feel like you're just kind of surviving through this thing called motherhood? Or do you feel like you're thriving? Do you feel like you're thriving in your marriage, or right now you're just at a point where you are just surviving? And if you have a business from home, are you surviving through it as you're trying to get momentum being built and keeping it going? Or are you really thriving in it? So why do we need to create boundaries? Well, I wrote down today just 3 reasons. The first is for our own personal health. And when I talk about our own personal health as moms, I'm talking about our emotional health, which is very, very important, and our own physical health. The second would be for the health of your family and the health of your marriage. And the third would be, really, you need to create boundaries if you're going to build a business from home and have focused time to really build your business, because without having that focused time, it's not going to happen. So here are some things I just want you to think about today. Are you stressed? If you are building a business from home, is your work life bleeding into your family life? So we'll just tackle this one first, okay? For those of you who are building a business or who are trying to get something off the ground, you need to have structured time in your day where you're going to work. And if you've been following YourMoreThanMom.com for a while, you've probably already seen me talk about time management. We talked about that a little bit last week. If you go to our website, we have a 4-part time management series there. If you go to our YouTube channel, we actually have a lot more videos there about time management, building businesses and such. It's a collection of like our Facebook Lives that we've done, and we've uploaded them to YouTube. But I think the hardest thing for me, definitely, when I first started my business at home, was not letting it bleed into the evening times when my husband was home and my kids are home. So my kids just entered the new phase where they are both in school. Up until now, my daughter's been in preschool and my son's been home with me, but now my son's in preschool and my daughter's in kindergarten. So now I have like 3 days a week of about 3 to 4 hours of focused time, which is awesome. And I use at least 2 of those days to focus on building my business and getting those tasks done that I need to get done to move it forward. And then at least one of those days out of the 3 or like maybe 2 hours of that day, I used it for personal me time so I could just kind of feed back into myself. Something that I've also been doing is I've been getting up a little early. At the beginning of the year, I started getting up at 5 a.m. and that worked for me for a while. Now that the kids are in school, I make sure they're up by 7, and that's why when we start to get ready for school. But I am definitely up by 6 a.m. every day. My little one, man, he wakes up anywhere between like 5:45 and 6:15, so I don't get too much time to myself. But usually I put like an educational show on for him. He loves to watch Barney, something like that. And then I just sit next to him on the couch and I read my Bible and I just feed my soul that way and just read scripture, connect with God, pray for the day, pray for the week, pray for my husband, pray for the kids, whatever needs to happen. But that is a boundary that I create for myself, is that in the morning I have that focused time so I can start the day that way and start the day on a good foot. But yes, one of the struggles for me when I first started my business was not letting my work time bleed into my family time. So it's really easy to get to the point where you don't get a whole lot done during the day. And then later on, after your husband comes home, he's watching the kids, let's say, then maybe you want to like go back on your computer and get something done. Or once the kids are in bed, you want to work and get something done. Now, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you have an understanding with your husband and he says it's okay. If not, then you got to find some other way, whether it's by waking up early to get your work done. So the way it works for us is the kids go to bed at 8, and then from 8 to 10 o'clock is my time with my husband, or I might take a bath, read a book, we might watch a show together, but that's my dedicated time to him. So those are boundaries that I've set because seriously, he's sat me down before and he said, Gina, you're working too much on your business, you're neglecting me. And when that happens, that means that my marriage is just surviving and it's not thriving. And I want to make sure that I'm meeting his needs. So another reason why we want to create boundaries, again, is for our own personal health, for our emotional health, because you know that if you are not setting aside time for yourself, then you'll get stressed. You might, I'm talking out of personal experience here, you might become really snappy and crabby at your family members, at your kids, and you don't want to be that way. You have to take care of yourself. So you need to create boundaries for yourself. You also need to create boundaries for the health of your family and for your marriage. And so when I think about the health of family and marriage, talking about this, I can go into so many different directions. But one of the first things I think of is, I know it's easiest for us as moms is that we want to keep our kids busy and we want to expose them to a lot of opportunities and activities. Well, it can get to the point sometimes, though, where all of the evenings are just for kid activities, whether it's sports or different lessons, things like that. And then the week has gone by and we've realized we haven't spent any like quality time with our kids or spent any quality time as a family, or we haven't spent any quality time with our spouse. So if you're in that situation, I would really encourage you to look at your week and say, okay, what is necessary and what's not? Because if you're feeling disconnected as a family, then you need to sit back again and create some boundaries. Maybe the boundary is something like twice a week after school in the evenings. That's when the kids could do an extra activity. But at least 3 days, Monday through Friday is family time, or maybe that's 2 days a week and 2 or 3 other days is something for family. Or for instance, my husband and I were really involved in ministry at our church, and so we say that not more than 3 days a week can we be gone for some kind of ministry. So my husband does worship at our Tuesday night prayer group. And sometimes he goes to Thursday night men's study if that's going on. Right now it's not. And then he also leads worship on Sunday mornings. If he went to all 3 of those, there's 3 things. So if he came home to me and said, oh, I also want to go and do this, then we'd be like, no, because you're going to be gone away from the family too much. So, or let's say he's just going to Tuesdays and he's doing Sunday mornings. So that's one night open or one day free where I can now go and maybe be away from the family and do something that's ministry related. So that's a boundary we have set. If not, knowing my husband and I, we could get so consumed in church and ministry and things like that, which are all great things, but the more consumed we are in it and we're not spending time with our families, again, we're going to get to that point where we're just surviving through the week, so busy, stressed, and we're not thriving as a family. When it comes down to it, really it comes down to saying no to things. And I know it's hard. if you're like me, you're a people pleaser and you say yes to a lot of things. Well, you definitely watched the interview with Denise because we talked about this a little bit about, she was actually the one who helped me learn how to say no. And so it's been a journey for the last 10 years, I would say, getting better at saying no. But if you feel like when someone comes up to you and asks you to do something and you feel like you're powerless to say no, like you have no reason to say no, then you really need to check and see, okay, am I too worried about people pleasing? Why can't I say no? What's the reason that you just can't get the word no out of your mouth, even though you know that it's something that you can't take on? So if you go back to our website, the time management series, I believe it's video 3, talks about creating boundaries and learning how to say no instead of saying yes all the time. And I can think of actually a specific example. Let's see, we've been at our church now since 2008, so we've been there for a really long time. And I think it was about a year after I was there, I had someone come up to me and they asked me if I would organize an event. And when they asked me, they specifically asked in a way, they said, well, Gina, we don't have anyone to do this, and we really thought that maybe you could do it since you're at home and you're not working. And you know what, at that point, I didn't have kids yet. I had just been laid off from my job, but you know what? I found a way to occupy my time that had purpose. And when they asked me that, I really didn't have time to put this event together, but I said yes anyways, and I just kind of felt like I let myself get guilted into it because I said, oh, but you're at home. So you know how it is. People will see that you're a stay-at-home mom, so they might assume that you have all these hours at home during the day, when actually as a stay-at-home mom, no, we're really busy. Not only, are we keeping our households together and cleaning and making sure that everything's good for our family, we might be volunteering in school, or you might be working from home. So that is one instance that I very much remember where I was asked to do something and I really should have said no, but I let myself be guilted into it. So this is something that I really want to hammer home, is that just because someone asks you to do something doesn't mean you need to say yes. You really need to look back and say, okay, I need to create some boundaries. What's really important to me right now? At the end of the day, you need to look at what's best for your family. So here are a couple things that I just want to go over really quick. Boundaries, they provide structure. And if we don't have structure in our day, if we don't have structure in our week, it just allows anything to fly at us. And it becomes very chaotic. And I know for myself that without the structure, I become stressed. So sit down, block out your day. Write out what you're doing so you know actually how much time you have to devote, so that the next time someone asks you to be on the PTA or to put something together for your kids' class, you'll actually know if you have time to do it. Second thing would be to learn how to say no, like we just talked about. Practice saying no. You can say it in a nice way. I would say it this way. Say, wow, thank you so much for inviting me to do that. Or thank you so much for asking me to do that. Let me think about it and then I'll get back to you. It's just as simple as that. And most of the time you won't get any resistance. So those are my tips for you today about creating boundaries in your schedule. It really is something that you just have to do. If you go to our website also, if you click on resources and then downloads, you'll see our time tracking sheet. You can download it directly from the website. And what that will give you, it will give you a sheet that you can print out, and it has 15-minute increments. So if you feel like your day is just so scattered, and like if you're thinking about your day right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on, or I don't know, you want to create some boundaries for your own personal health, for your emotional health, like if you just want to be able to sit down and have time to yourself, take that time tracking sheet, use it over 3 days, and write down every 15 minutes what you are doing, so that after the 3 days you can sit down and look at it and say, okay, this is where I might have wasted my time here and there. Maybe if I take out that 15 minutes of TV and instead go outside, sit in the sun, enjoy the fresh air, and just dive into scripture or read a book, or just sit there and look around, whatever it is you want to do. Just find the time, do it so that you can refresh yourself and make sure that you have those personal boundaries set so that you can take care of yourself because it's so important for us as moms. All right, I think that's all I got for you today. Definitely make sure to watch Denise David's interview. And I just want to leave you with this. Look, as moms, we want to thrive in our role as moms and not just survive. So make sure that you are creating those boundaries. Create those boundaries for yourself so that you can emotionally, physically pour into yourself. Make sure that you have your boundaries set for the health of your family and your marriage. And also make sure that you have those boundaries set so that you can have focused time to build your business. All right, have a great day, everybody. Bye.